Today we are talking about the value of fear. Now, first and foremost, I wanted to be outside today. I wanted to be up a tree today, up somewhere super high, doing a video down like that, showing, oh yeah, you know, some people's fears are this, and this, and other people actually relish in climbing trees, going up high, the dark, whatever it might be, in a pit of snakes. Super windy outside today, and I was thinking the audio is going to be awful. So, again, got over my own fear of these videos and making it perfect, because I have this thing about, oh, it's got to be great, it's got to be this, got to be that. No, it hasn't. It's just got to be done. So trying to mitigate against my own fears and just make it happen. So I'm just going to list some general fears, right? And then we can work out, well, what's the value of fear. So, we've got some general fears. Public speaking, I think, number one. Public speaking, okay? This is kind of public speaking. I love public speaking personally. Fill up Wembley Stadium, give me a microphone and say go. I'm all over that shit. You know what I mean? I'm fine with that kind of thing. But 99.9% of people really fear public speaking, okay? Things like spiders or bugs or snakes or, you know, alligators, tigers, whatever. I remember my niece, she was like, oh, I fear dead animals. I think, she got that from my sister-in-law. And I was like, what do you mean you fear dead animals? Like, if you saw a dead tiger, you know, what, are you going to fear that more than a live tiger? Like, if I saw a live tiger, I'm going to be way more scared than if I see a dead tiger. There's only one reason I'd be more afraid if I saw a dead tiger, and that is if I saw that something had mauled and clawed and crunched into that dead tiger. I'd be like, oh crap, what else is around here that just took that tiger out? Then I might be more afraid. But we often have these really unfounded fears, these really like silly kind of fears. One of the big ones I've underlined here, because practice, is we fear our idea of someone else's idea of us, of what we do, of what we think, of what we say, or how we look. We fear their idea. So our idea of their idea is like, what? That doesn't make any sense. They haven't said anything. They haven't said, oi, if you do this, I'm going to crack you in the face. No. They haven't said, if you do this, I'm going to drain your bank. If you do this, I'm going to... No. We just fear other people's idea of us. That's a crazy one. We fear heights. Like I said, a lot of people fear heights. We fear rejection, okay? As a human race, I tell you what, rejection is... And granted, going back to tribal times, caveman times, whatever you want to call it, if we didn't have the acceptance of the group, if we literally were rejected and sent away from the village, yeah, there's a very good chance, out on our ass, we're going to die on our own. So I understand the fear of rejection, but in this world today, for example, there's the whole hoo-ha. Like I said recently, I've been thinking a lot about the whole relationshipy side of things and, you know, the whole dating market. But the idea of now, men, boys, whatever you want to call them, have been so deterred from approaching, because they might appear creepy or, you know, perverse, whatever you want to call it. They fear so much fear of going up to women and just saying, hey, what's up? I think you're quite pretty. Do you fancy grabbing a coffee? Whatever it might be. So there's plenty of women out there now going, well, where are all the men? Why aren't they approaching? They're literally terrified of being misunderstood, and being misunderstood is a huge thing. They're terrified of the rejection, but the humiliation that comes with it. So a lot of women out there, they're afraid of physical pain, physical injury from men, let's say. And the men are afraid of more the mental side, you know, the reputational side of things. Oh, that man's a bad man because he once asked this person out and she said no, and so he must be bad. You know, people think that, and it's not grounded in reality, let's say. Again, it's almost like our idea of other people's idea of us. So these kind of things, to me, like FOMO, fear of missing out. What? Missing, again, granted, if everyone else is feasting and you're out there and you're sort of like looking through the window and you are missing out and you think, well, actually, you know, I'm not going to get food, I'm not going to get water, this could be the end of me. I get it. Proper fear. But again, in today's society, it's not really grounded in reality. It's certainly 99.9% of the time not grounded in actual evidence from your own life. It's more anecdotal stuff, and it's possibly like just an internal general fear. We fear death. Do you fear death? It's from Pirates of the Caribbean, if you didn't get that. People fear death. People for, oh my days, it's this one of these huge things. I can't even talk about it. No, I don't want to talk about that. Don't want to go there. myself, I guess I'm fortunate in many ways. I have literally had death, kind of metaphorically, obviously, on my shoulder, choking me out ever since I was conscious, ever since I was aware I've been alive. Death has been more in me than on me, let's say. But, you know, there are people often fear this beautiful little creature, right? I mean, how can you fear that? Look at the beautiful little face. But people do fear her. People fear us when we're walking down the street. We do look pretty trained. We do look a little bit military-esque. I do grant you that, and I look mean especially when I'm in pain. You can see the lines on my face. You can hear the way I talk. You know, I have been pained in my life. So I guess people can see that and go, I don't really want to be too close to that guy. I don't want to really aggravate that guy. And they would be right, absolutely right. Don't do that, but don't fear me completely unnecessarily, because actually we're both pretty lovely, even if I do say so myself. But I get it, and you know, people fear making these kind of mistakes, fearing the wrong thing, and you know, fear kind of runs our lives, you know, and it's a massive multiplier. So again, fear is one of these things. Let's say you've done all the prep, okay, you've done all the practice for indoor. I don't know, argument's sake, you're singing. Yep, you're doing a gig. You're singing. You're doing your first gig, right? And you could anything. Replace this with anything. This is purely an example. You've done all your practice indoors. You've learned all your lyrics. You've learned all your songs. You're pitch perfect indoors. Oh, amazing, great. You've done all of the prep. You've done all of the practice. All of the stuffs. All of the things. And you get up there on stage and you go, and nothing comes out. Because the fear beats you. Or you can't even get on stage in the first place. You hear the crowd out there, yeah, chanting, ready, waiting, and these nerves just build up inside. I can't. It's almost like someone's just going to, you know, just blow your head off with a shotgun if you don't get it perfect. And this is what I fear a lot. You know, if I don't get it perfect, if I don't get it just right, well, then what? No, I don't know. That's it. Just I fear with these, like, you know, the reason why I did fear today is because I felt fear, I felt nerves these past few days going into doing these videos. No one's going to come banging on my door and punch me in the face if I don't do a great job in the videos. Kind of no one cares. But that's almost the fear. Well, what if no one cares about me? You know, it's that kind of an idea. So these fears can be a massive multiplier. They can be a very, very beneficial thing. So you go, oh, okay, I fear that tiger walking towards me, snarling, you know, looking like he wants to eat me. Great, that's a good idea. Fear that tiger, fear that bear, fear certain things, fear the bullets flying through the air. It makes absolute sense. If you've got an army of people coming towards you saying, we're going to get you, run. Yeah? Fear can really serve us well, and it's grounded in our anatomy, just, you know, to be there, and we're always on alert. But the trouble is, in this day and age, we're alert and we're kind of fearful of a lot of the wrong things, okay, and it gets in our way. So it's a massive multiplier to the downside. Not quite as bad as breathing, because let's say again, like I say, times by zero when it comes to breathing. If you can't breathe, that's it, game over. Fear, let's say you got up on that stage and you went to open your mouth, or you couldn't even get on the stage in the first place. Well, you can still go home and eat. You know, people close to you, they're going to be like, it's all right, don't worry about it. You've still got enough, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's not quite as important as the ability to breathe. It's not quite as valuable as that in terms of the getting over of the fear. But certainly if you can breathe really well, you know, its breath comes back a lot. If you can breathe really well, it's going to help you get over your fears. So again, in some of my prep here, I just thought it's a good chance to practice your breathing. Oftentimes you feel that fear, you feel your heart rate raising. Again, you just work on that exhale. You just calm yourself down. Okay, and then you can hopefully find a way to overcome, and it's a good way to show courage. If you feel I feel it all the time, you know, things like I fear crying on camera, I fear looking stupid crying on camera. I guarantee you one day I will cry on camera. Men aren't supposed to cry. Well, they do. I hate to break it to you, they do, and I cry all the time. I'm a proper crier. Now, no one's ever said to me, you're not a proper man. In fact, men say to me all the time, oh man, I wish I was a man like you. You're super this, you're super that. I'm like, man, I cry all day, every day. I can't have children. Like, biologically, I can't have children. That makes me feel like not a proper man. So, you know, I'm crying every day. I haven't got a job right now and I can't have kids. Well, I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man. But, you know, that's nothing to fear. That's just something to accept. Value of acceptance coming up. So it is a massive multiplier, and this is part one. It really is only fear part one. I fear missing things out on these videos. But I have to remember, confidence, mate. Yeah, patience. Give it time. You know, work on all of these things like humility. Yeah, realize this is all practice. This is, you know, this is me showing my work. All of these there's no need to fear doing this video today. Using logic to overcome the fear. What is the worst that's going to happen? Yeah, you might feel nervous, but let's just play it through. Let's just run some scenarios. What's going to really happen if this, if that? So sometimes we do need to just take a beat, and we need to think about it logically, and we can actually overcome that fear. I think it's like CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy. It's that kind of an idea. I'm scared of this. Why? I don't know, I just am. Okay, well, that needs looking at, clearly. If you let the I don't know, I just am get in your way, and that's that, you don't even question it, that's an issue. So one of the things I've been fearing a lot is getting ill again. Now, I'm always ill as a baseline, but me now is nowhere near as ill as I used to be. Yeah, I say I died twice. Right now, arguably, technically, I might not have passed over to the other side and come back, but I've died twice in my life. Really, really. Like, it's, you know, once from where I tried to off myself kind of attempt, and another, I was just so ill. I can't believe I made it through the night, and I said to my cousin, I think I died last night. It's a weird concept, but, you know, I fear getting ill again. I fear ending up back in hospital again. I had so many, well, in my life, it equates to about 3 years in hospital, I would say, overall. And I fear that. I fear being trapped in that room again, having, you know, feeling kind of imprisoned again. I fear this, but I also fear success, which is a weird thing. I fear that if I get going with stuff like this again, which is why I put it off for a long time, because I didn't quite know if I could handle it, or I didn't think I could handle it, I didn't think I was strong enough, I didn't think all of the things, I didn't feel I could, basically that. I feared all of these potential things. Oh, what if I start saying yes to things again, and then I've got such and such, and you know, these responsibilities, I can't let people down, I can't do this, I'm scared of this happening, I'm scared of that happening. But overall, again, I've used it before, kind of like someone, you know, an ex-convict saying, I'm never going back to prison. Anything but that. Kill me before you send me back to prison. I'm never going back there. That's how I feel about getting ill. And ill, comparatively speaking, like I used to be ill, in the idea that my whole world just came to a grinding halt and I could not human anymore. Yeah? To human was tough. Just to sit and breathe in and out and make it to the toilet. All these things, it was just too tough to be a human. I fear that so much. So I fear success, which is weird. All of these kind of things. But again, I have to have this humility, the value of humility. I have to prepare. I have to have patience, confidence, belief and faith. And even if I don't believe in me, I have to have that belief in others that I say, that's a good man, that's a good man. And they're saying to me, you can do it, mate. I have to have belief in them, even if I don't believe in me. I have to have faith that they want the best for me. You know, I have to trust them. Yeah, fear and trust, they're very closely linked, and obviously you're gonna, you know, you might have a best rope, a climb, so you're hanging from a harness on a rope, and you go, no, I trust the manufacturers of this rope, I trust the other people that have used this, I trust these things, I see it, I can feel it, all of these things, you know, I trust my senses. But people fear, and it's irrational a lot of the time, and it's sad that we allow, I've done it, I'm not saying, I'm not being a hypocrite, we allow ourselves to succumb to that fear, okay? There's plenty of other things I'm missing out today, because I'm trying to keep it high and short and sweet. I know we're at like nearly 14-minute mark. So fear can be super beneficial. It can stop us doing really dumb things. And it's basically there to get you to ask yourself the question. And that question is, do I really want to do this? Let's say you're standing on top of a mountain. You got your backpack on with the parachute in it. You're standing up the edge, first time you've ever done it, and you're like, oh crap. What the bloody hell am I doing up here? Your heart's going to be going, everything is going to be screaming, no, don't do this. But if you've prepped, you've done all the things, you trust the person, you trust the stuff, all the rest, of course things can still go wrong. But the idea being that you go, no, this fear isn't serving me. It's just getting me to ask the question, do I really want to do this? Do I really care that much? Does this matter to me that much to overcome this fear and take action, show courage and bravery in spite of the fear? Or is this saying, you know what, mate, this might be a really dumb idea and you definitely shouldn't do this. So you ask yourself that question, is this something I really want to be doing? That's really all that fear is there for, to get you to stop, to get you to contemplate your next step. But bravery and courage is what's going to help you overcome it. And when you embrace the fears, the silly fears, let's say, and when you can pass through to the other side, that's when the magic to the upside, that's when that multiplier to the upside really happens. Because so much of, or so many of the things that just life has to offer is on the other side of fear. So how valuable is fear? Depends what you're trying to do.